Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So we are still not seeing a dramatic climb in inventory. Our sales numbers are still good, and so still no major changes to report this week. But let's look at the numbers. So in Georgetown this week, we had 18 properties sell, which is in line with what we've been seeing, that sort of high teens. Of those 18, 14 of them sold over asking, no huge surprise. Something of interest that I was like, I'm gonna break down and look at a price point here. Of the 8 properties that sold over $1 million, 6 of them sold over asking. So as busy as we are in that lower price point that seems to be really moving, the $1 million+ price point is fetching some huge numbers. And when we see an over asking in that $1 million+ price point, it's usually like 200,000-300,000 over asking. The numbers we're seeing in that price point are humongous. So still lots happening and still tons and tons of bidding wars. No surprise. In terms of new listings this week, we had more new listings than sales, which is a little bit of good news. I mean, it's not huge. It's only 19 new listings. So we're still not seeing that huge gap. I remember the one week we had like 30 some odd new listings and then only 12 sales, and it felt like, oh, this is happening, but it's not happening. So, and by it, I mean the market changing. So looking at Acton this week, we had 4 properties sell. 4 of them sold over asking. In Acton, everything basically is under $1 million. And so the good stuff that's coming up and that's priced well is moving, and it's moving in multiples. So we did have 6 new listings in Acton, so yay to that. I mean, anytime we are seeing more new listings than sales feels like this tiny little win. So looking at Glen Williams this week, the only listing on the market there did sell this week. There was no new listings, so yikes to inventory there. Limehouse had no sales and no new listings, and the rural market had 1 property sell and 3 new listings. So that is good news because rural's been a little bit weird lately. So looking at available inventory in all of Halton Hills, last week we were at 64. This week we are up to 69 active listings. So that is still a super low number. We need to see like triple digits in inventory for us to be feeling some kind of normalcy here, but it did go up. So let's take that as a win. In Georgetown this week, we are up to 32 active listings, which is still, like everywhere, very low, but it's up, so that's good. But when we look at our price points, like yikes. Under 700,000, like it feels like impossible to get something now freehold under 700,000 in Georgetown. That just is like feeling non-existent. And so looking at under 700,000, last week we were at 4. This week we're down to only 3 active listings. Again, all condo and condo townhomes. So really, if your budget is that under 700,000, it's really difficult to be getting something decent and definitely not freehold. So 700,000 to 800,000 is at 4 active listings. It's down from 5, and a couple of them have offer nights. So that price point always is moving. So 800 to $1 million. We are up slightly to 9 active listings. We've been seeing an up and down trend in that price point. And so we are at 9 active listings this week. And like, yikes, honestly. These numbers are still very, very bad with how many offers we're seeing on properties. Like there's just still so much room for a seller to capitalize right now. In terms of the $1 million+ price point, this price point continues to be very, very interesting to me. It seems like yesterday that it was so weird for a house to get over $1 million. And now like basic houses in Georgetown South and even some in town are fetching like that $1 million+ like easily. It just, as someone who's been doing it for a while, it just seems wild to me what I'm seeing in that $1 million+. So we are up from 14 active listings to 16, but again, we were sitting around like 30, so 16 is not good. Now looking at Acton, we are up from 11 to 13 active listings. but more than half of those 13 had offer nights yesterday, today, or tomorrow. I anticipate most of those will transact because they're all priced well and they warrant having the offers held. Like they're a bit underlisted. And so of those, half I anticipate they will probably be gone. So that's really gonna hurt our active inventory this week. Glen Williams, no active listings. Wah wah. The Glen cannot hold on to decent inventory. It seems like the word is out more than ever how awesome it is to live there. And so it is just a real problem that when something comes, it goes in the Glen. So sitting at 0 active listings, if you want to move here, that is not great news. And Limehouse is still sitting. We have this one active listing in Limehouse. It's a huge one. It's over $5 million. It's been sold conditional for a couple of weeks. So we're still sitting at just the one. We have seen nothing new in, oh my goodness, it's been since the start of June that Limehouse has really had any inventory. So need some stuff. Glen Williams and Limehouse, like, people, list your houses. There is a backlog of people that want these properties. Now the rural market, we are at 23 active listings, which is up from 21. So that is great news. Again, you have to have the bigger budgets, and it seems like rural is getting busier now that town is more scarce. So we'll see what happens, but 23 is way better than when we're sitting in the teens there. So let's just take that. So overall, it doesn't really feel like anything dramatic is happening one way or the other. We're not seeing massive inventory drops. We're not seeing massive inventory increases. With the amount of bidding wars we're seeing, it's just showing how many buyers are still active in this market, who still want to make a move. We are so far from this market actually changing. So next week, I'm going to have July's numbers, and I'm really excited to see those because last July is when it started to get insanely busy. June we were picking up and July felt mental. And so I think that this July has been stellar, and I think our price points are going to be way up. So come back next Tuesday, see what happened overall in July, and I hope you have a great week. See you next Tuesday.